So it's getting the end of July now, and we are at episode 62 of Double Cross Anime. So this week we're gonna get into episode 3 of Fire Force, episode 3 of Vinland Saga, episode 4 of Araburu, and episode whatever of Mix.
16.
16, alright, 16. Alright, so which one do you want to start first?
I definitely don't want to start with episodes 6 through 10 of Heidi, Girl of the Alps, which we'll also be doing.
We can save that for the last.
Yeah.
As always.
As for these four, I don't know.
All right.
We can start with. Do you want to start with like something to complain about?
We have. So that must be Fire Force.
Yeah. Well, probably.
All right.
Do that. Because we didn't get to talk about Fire Force last week.
Did we? I think we talked about like. Did we?
It was off. It was.
Yeah.
It was delayed.
Off. Because I was thinking that we did talk about the second episodes of Fire Force or something.
That was 2 weeks ago.
All right. Yep. So Fire Force, episode 3, the rookie tournaments, which
it's not much of a tournament.
It's not much of a tournament at all.
It's like a training exercise.
That's right. That's right. That's what I feel is why.
But it was like that in the manga because I read the first volume
right.
for the season preview.
Yep.
It was like this.
All right. Just starting off first, the pacing is really weird. The story, the narrative of this episode is like all over the place.
A lot of people have said that, but I don't know how many complaints like that we would be hearing if it hadn't been delayed. Because the first 2 episodes certainly had their share of, strange pauses and other odd choices.
Yep.
In terms of scene transitions and like mid conversation breaks.
Right.
I didn't think that anything was like odd about this episode. At least not in terms of like how it progressed.
Well,
what did you think was strange about it?
Well, I actually happen to think that how the story progressed is really not well put together. Like if you see it like separately, many of these events happen in these episodes are they have a reason to be there. But when you put together in a string of like the string of event, it doesn't really like add up. So we got like we've been hinting from last week that this week gonna be the practice between all the rookies. We don't see that at all. We don't get a sense of like that happening. Remember the scene when Syndra enter the building before everyone else.
Yeah.
And it took for like 5-7 minutes long before like everyone get in. And I think it doesn't make sense as a practice or as a game or at the tournament or whatever they are doing.
That's how it was in the manga. He flies he flies up into the air and everyone else has to make their way up through the building because it's like many stories high.
And then when the building blow up, we see like he's having up 4 other people, so like two of the guard and the other 2 members. Where is everyone else?
They don't matter.
Oh right. Yeah, that is planned. Right. So yeah, it just the logical sense of like how everything flow is really abrupted. It's really bad.
Oh well, it was the ash, right? The dust or whatever, whatever it was that Mr. Fedora spread all over the place. That's what caused the explosion. So maybe only the upper levels blew up, and everyone else like the non-talented, non-main character shonen filler people.
and
Maybe they weren't affected down at the bottom.
and then I want to see them, like how they behave after the blow up, because we see them enter the building, we don't see them get out at all, and no one mentioned about them at all.
Yeah, well, I didn't even consider that because they just don't matter. I mean, to the
And
story.
yeah, and that was one. Like on the others, they have that as well. So like in the beginning, we see Shinra talking to the captain of I think Detachment One
Yeah,
about the past, but then like the story get lost because he see the other guy like in the building, and he know about that past as well, and then it just like it doesn't get no anywhere, like the direction is really uh not well planted for me, like even the manga, if the manga do it that way.
uh, okay, yeah.
So so
I
that's
didn't
the issue I have with the narrative of these episodes.
I didn't have a particular issue with what how like the direction that the story took, because the deal with this episode is Shinra really wants answers about what happened that day on
Yep.
his when his family died,
Yep.
12 years ago or something.
Yep.
um, and so the question is he going to be tempted to distrust the fire force, because he asks the captain of Division 1 for answers, and the
Mhm.
guy's obviously brushing him off. But
Yep.
the evil guy with purple eyes and the whatever his name is, I don't know.
So
He's willing to give Shinra answers.
mhm.
Um, so like the question becomes: is Shinra going to like go down a darker path than we would
Mhm.
expect? Because somebody with villainous intentions is willing to provide him the answers that he wants. So it
Yep.
makes sense to contrast the Fedora guy
Mhm.
against um, the Division 1 captain.
All right. And on the other hand, we have like a very mistreatment to the female characters, but on the groups, and oh my god, they just fancy misses.
You're talking about Tamaki,
Yep.
the new girl.
Who wearing bikini on her job.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Yep. So
Well, like Shinra wears sandals everywhere he goes,
right.
because his shoes would just burn away. So I think the idea is probably that. I mean, obviously the main idea is that, oh, we're gonna put a female character in a bikini,
Yep.
and teenage boys or preteens are gonna be like, whoa, I gotta buy this manga with my parents' money.
Yep.
Um, but perhaps the in-universe explanation is that what she's wearing has some kind of fireproof material, and if she were to wear anything else, like a shirt or what
Yep.
have you, it would just burn away.
Yep.
Because
Well, because
she's another third generation,
yeah,
fire manipulator, whatever they're called.
yeah, because her special ability is turned into a cat,
Yeah, another fetish
cat woman.
thing.
Yeah, that's right. Um. All right. I think she's gonna appear more often in the future. I
Yeah.
have that sense, but I just don't appreciate how the gag. Hopefully, it's not gonna become the gag between whenever we see her.
Well,
That like
you know that it is because she says something about like, oh no, I have like a lecherous, uh, what was it? She has some nickname for like a characteristic of hers where she just attracts perverts to her. So yes, it will become. I mean, Soul Eater was the same way, from what I remember, from what little I saw of it. Um, there's a character whose main purpose is to be like, you know, a participant in sex gags.
Yep.
So,
All right.
yeah, it's gonna happen again with Tamaki.
All right. All right. Let's get to another topic. I find that the saying like the what he learned this week about like what to trust and what not to trust between the divisions, and how like each division have their own agency, and they all plan and secrets and stuff. I think that is really interesting.
So you were okay with the 54-second still shot at the end of the
I'm
episode?
I'm okay with that. Actually, I'm okay with that. Like individually, individually, I think I don't have much of the issues. So it's not the same complaint as in the first two episodes, where I feel the awkward in the in the exchange. This one, I'm totally alright with that. But like the general plot just get lost for me, because it tried to tackle too many topic, and it just doesn't come up as like a cohesive episodes.
Yeah, a lot of people I've seen, because of the KyoNe disaster.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of conversation online about like, oh, you can tell obviously that this episode was, it was like rushed, and oh man, you can tell where the cuts were, and then, but no one is mentioning the fact that there's a 54-second still at the end of the episode, which is
And
obviously inserted into the episode at the expense of, like, let's say 44 seconds of
yep,
uh
fight.
yeah,
Yeah, I got that.
of potentially offensive and like triggering material. No one is touching on this. They're just like, oh yeah, man, that thing at the start of the episode was really weird. With the two villains talking. What are you saying? Like,
Yeah,
it's obviously
and
this gigantic clunky slow zoom in on one shot that does not move for almost an entire minute at the end.
well, I actually like that shot. So count me out on those people. I actually really like that. It remind me again of Shaft.
Yeah, well, that's bad.
It's not bad. It's alright. You know, like you don't. Sometimes you don't need animation in an anime in order to be
Uh,
in order to be good, or to be like not getting the point across, because I think it does getting a point across.
what point? The same point for almost an entire minute?
All right, the point is that
It's just dialogue. It's
yep.
just it's just him, talking about the divisional makeup of the Special Fire Force. All the different divisions and what like which parts of their society have control over them, who they report to, and the 8th Division is they're like the whistleblowers, or they're the truth seekers, whatever you want to
Yep.
call them.
I actually like the idea, and I think it's gonna make uh like a bigger story coming forward, like the fight, the battle, the between all the divisions. Not that, not like all out, but like uh the behind the scenes, the political and all this. I actually like that.
I doubt that this episode is going to get too into politics.
Right. Mm.
Or I'm sorry, I doubt that this series is going to get too into politics.
Yeah. Mm. Which I can agree with. I'm okay with that. But
Yeah.
yep, by this episode, it's not a good one.
All right. Well, I mean, I didn't have too much of a problem with it. I thought it had the same problems as the first two.
Mm.
We ended up picking this show to talk about,
Yep.
for the summer season, because it was tied with a couple others, and this was the one with the,
Yep.
like, that was
But
most agreeable between the two of us, I suppose.
that's right.
But I would much rather. I've seen at least one more episode of both Dumbbell and Dr. Stone, and I would
You
much
enjoy
rather.
them more.
Yeah,
right.
oh, for sure. Yeah, Fire Force is just like, you know,
You know what? We can
there's
give.
combat and shouting and sexism.
Yep, and nothing else. Well, no, no, they have good animation as well when they do. So
I actually, I don't know, like I wasn't a fan of the fight between Shinra and what's his face?
Joker, I think that's his name.
Joker. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess, yeah, because he does have that playing card theme.
Hmm.
Um, I wasn't a fan of the fight. Like I can't really explain why. I don't have all the technical knowledge um, to talk about the shortcomings that I found in the animation, but just like
Is that like
the camera
sorry?
placement, I don't think that they like
Right.
foreshortening is perhaps the term. When Shinra would like zoom, he would his back would be close to the camera, and then he would move towards the Joker and try to do a kick and then like retreat. I don't think they properly captured the perspective there.
All right. All right. I think
I
I get what you mean.
felt like his body didn't the necessary parts of his body that were being extended and retracted did not um, their size wasn't and their heft wasn't really captured.
Right. Hmm. All right. I how do you feel about like give this show another week, and if we don't like it, we can just train to another two options.
I mean, I'm okay with it for right now. It's still early, you know.
Right. All right.
It's not as
Yep.
though watching it is like a painful experience yet.
No, it's not. It's have always been entertaining for me.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, I'm not thinking about like replacing it yet, but
Right.
not really. Not really. I don't have any sort of hope for it
All
going
right.
forward.
All right. Let's get to the next one then. I'm thinking of Mix.
Okay. Let's do that.
All right, Mix. It's one of the slow episode for me. Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
where
a third of it is dedicated to a swim off between Otomi
right.
and Mita, or
Yep.
Arisa, I should say.
And even Otome have no idea that happened.
What do you mean?
Since it was like, the do we just have the do we just do the swimming activity before? And the other girl just say like, yeah, 2 episodes ago.
Yeah,
And
in episode
then
14.
yeah, and then they was like the five fat, like as in tradition, the five fattest swimmer gonna do the little competitions.
Did you
And
say
she
as
was
is tradition?
yeah, they said that as well. And then I remember she just said like at a tradition, so she obviously have no idea about that as well.
Yeah, but I'm sure like in touch something similar happened. That's the
All right.
tradition that they were referring to.
Yeah. So yeah, like it I think it intentional that like they put Otomi, like just as in the middle of that and doesn't know what happened and stuff. So
I
like
I
it
definitely remember there being a swimsuit portion of
yep.
a previous episode, but I don't remember there being any sort of race in
No, no,
episode
no, no, no.
14.
Yep. So
That's
so
why she
so
didn't remember either. They just
yep.
are
So,
allowed to invent stuff as long as they have a character comment on. Well, I don't remember this.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I think that's that is the case here.
Yeah, and then
So
she's saves she gets the keys.
yep.
She gets the teacher's keys, and that's the
And
moment. I think the big takeaway from the scene is that's the moment when Akai
yep.
like falls in love with her
That's right.
when he sees what she's done for the teacher rather than focusing on some petty rivalry.
Yep. 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 That's right. And it's still an enjoyable episode for me, but it is the one who doesn't offer many of the joy of watching the show. I I I like those moments, but they don't have like any sort of uh, great exchanges from the four core cast.
Yeah, well, they're apart for a large portion of the episode.
Right.
Otomi's doing her own thing. There's a lot of middle school focus here, and those are not my favorite parts of Mix.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Like I don't care too much about like Natsuno, for example, the
So,
the kid with the shaved head,
Yep.
who's the middle. He wants to be like the number one pitcher. Um, don't really care about him very much. It's obvious that he's, you know, there just always seems to be an Adachi character who's like in love with the main heroine, but he just has no chance.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
I
he's obviously that character in this show.
I think I think that's revealed that like the guy having a feeling for Otomi gonna affect Otomi and Toma in the long run.
Yeah, yeah. So it's more like a love pentagon now instead of a love square between the
Yeah.
four main characters.
Huh.
I mean, it's good. It's good that she's got a love interest who is not her stepbrother.
All right. I actually enjoy Haruka's moment there. So like every time she on screen, she was really good.
Oh, what did you think about the weird cutaway to like a different art style? When the two members of what's the school that they're about to play?
Oh
Sanko.
yeah.
There's like a weird cutaway to two
Tennis
two
guy.
Sanko students
All right.
who were talking about the umpire's chair.
I thought they just having fun. They are the two guys come from the other manga, so to speak. So like from other world, and yeah, it just kind of the show making fun of itself.
Yeah, I guess so. For using such a cliched
Cartoonish.
plot device.
Yep.
I'm sure that they were in the style of some other anime or manga.
Maybe. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised if they are like a character from other anime, but it feels actually quite refreshing to see like like people who have other art style just pop up here randomly
Yeah.
talking about random plot device.
Somebody who doesn't have giant donut ears like every
Yeah.
character in Mix.
And I love the way it's handled as well. So like after that, we see the step broke down, and we see like it cut away to the brothers when Toma trying to do the drop shot, the rope.
The drop
Hey.
shot. You're definitely a tennis player.
Well, so I
A
actually
sinker.
really all right. So
There you go.
I actually really like that, like the cutaway and the humor of that.
Right. Yeah, the narrator says it dropped and the narrator says and so did she.
Yeah, so you see.
Yes. Yeah, he's working on a sinker and that will probably pop up in the next match against Sanko. Like if they showed him doing that sinker pitch, then he'll
Yeah.
probably have to use it to strike out their cleanup hitter or something like that.
Do we have any information ideas about the next opponent?
Yeah, they have those two guys who are animated in a completely different art style.
Oh right.
That's some key info right there.
You actually just got me there. I was thinking, oh, okay, the two guys.
I mean, I don't think we have any information about them because Haruka's, her spying attempt was unsuccessful.
Yep. She
So
broke her arm.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with them. She broke her arm, and now she's the manager of the baseball team.
Yep. Because he can't do the freedom gymnastic anymore.
Yeah,
I think that
I was just talking about how I want to, like, ugh. It's so annoying that she's a rhythm gymnast, and we're now that part of the story is basically like totally cut out.
Oh, it's just 3 months. So yeah, after 3 months, you're gonna be back to do her gymnastic thing.
No, she won't. She'll stay on as the manager, because at that point, like well, I mean, there's zero chance that she ends up in any kind of relationship with any of these guys because hey, there's a
Is it?
rule against it. It's one of Goro's rules. She can't date anybody on the
Oh,
team.
all right.
It will
Huh.
never ever ever happen.
Or maybe what happened in the future is she and Akai, the guy who just confessed that he's been in love with Otome. Maybe
What
they
does he
are
have to do with
together.
Haruka? What? Why?
Just because Haruka can fall in love with any of these guys
Ah, I
in
see.
the club.
So she had yes, she must then get together with the other
On
character, like another
That's
character
right.
from the main cast
Yep.
who isn't on the team, right? Yeah,
Uh,
makes sense. She could go stake out the middle school for options.
yeah, why not?
I'll tell you why not, because that sounds really wrong.
Uh, in reality, they are just like 1-2 years different. It
Yeah.
it doesn't sound that bad, basically.
Mm.
But yeah, I think like even with mix, this episode doesn't provide a lot of, like progression.
Well,
Wait,
the brothers are like side characters.
yeah, that's right, that's right, exactly right. Yes.
The most time they get on screen is at the very end with the gag where all the members of the baseball team are showing off
Oh,
because Haruka
I,
is the new
I
manager.
I actually like how how bizarre they sailing off
Oh yeah,
become like
they're
the
like
last
loudly
one.
exclaiming their names, and then the little intro card comes up on screen
Yep.
with
And then
the really like impact.
slogan.
Yeah, well, the impactful like calligraphy or whatever it is of their name.
Yep. I remember like the last like slogan that they say like my name is blah 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 Takahashi or something, and then anytime and anywhere. It just
Yeah,
like
that was. What are you trying to say there, dude?
oh my god, that's so funny. All right.
I think
Yeah.
that's a saying in Japanese, right? Like itsudemo. Um, I think the idea that it's meant to convey is at any time that you need help or that you need a
I'll be
favor
there.
or anything. Yes, I'll be there. Yeah.
Yep. Well,
But phrasing it as anytime, anywhere kind of sounds a little,
no, it's really
risque.
amazing. They try so hard.
Yes, they're definitely trying hard. That much cannot be disputed.
Yep. All right. But then again, we have like a really slow episodes of Mix, and I always enjoyed.
They're all like that.
Yeah, but I always enjoy these little moments in Mix, but not so much in the episodes. I think
Mm.
mainly because of the core cast doesn't have much to do in the episodes. Like
Yeah.
between them.
Yeah, it's all about like middle school.
Yep. And swimming contest.
Yeah, yeah. That's I was when I was watching that scene, I was like, is there a point to all this?
There
Then
is.
she gets the keys, and I was like, oh, what? Yeah, okay, yeah, I
She find the
guess.
keys.
Yeah, all right.
I
I
don't
see.
like
I
that.
see what you're doing.
I don't like the idea that like she find the key. That's explain why she slow down and lost the battle. I don't like that. I don't like the implication of that. But
What
apart
do you
from
mean?
that,
The implication?
the implication is that because she looking for the keys, or because he was like diving down, taking the keys, he was losing. She lost to the girl.
What's wrong? I don't get it. Like that's clearly what
Well,
happened. What don't you like about that?
I don't like because it's so obvious. we don't need to know about like why she lose, because I don't think, because at first I don't think that's the point of doesn't matter what she does. It is the fact that she still lost at that time. But again, the point is actually like for Akai to see all that, and he realized that she fall in love with Otomi. So I think that's good.
Okay. Great.
Yep, you get me right.
Kind of. Not really.
All right, that's all right.
She got the keys, and the perverted teacher was exonerated in the end. So
That's right. Yep. All right. I think we can get to Vinland Saga.
okay. There's a
It's
new
good.
episode of Vinland Saga coming out today, I think. Like probably really soon after we stop recording this.
A few hours.
Yeah, in a
That's
few
a
hours.
that's a shame.
Yeah, we're always going to be an entire week behind if we go
Yep.
at this rate.
Yeah, but we can't do that any better. So yeah.
Sorry, everybody. Vinland Saga episode 3.
So yep, episode 3 is good. Not, for me, not as impressive as episode 2, but it's still a good one.
Here's a question for you.
Right.
Why didn't they just shoot Thor's with arrows as soon as they trapped his boat?
They want to make a sport out of it. That's my take, because I think they underestimate Thor and the team. They think
Well,
that they
Askeladd does not underestimate him because he senses that something is up with Floki's orders.
right.
Um, he knows that the execution order that Floki mentions is not real. This is like a personal grudge or something.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's true. They're making a sport out of it. But it's like when they trap the ship, and Thor says, "Raise your shields above your head. They're gonna fire arrows."
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
then you see all the guys on the cliff with arrows, like knocked and ready to go. And then it just doesn't happen.
And then they just go to the ship in order to face them head on for some reason.
Well, they don't go to the ship. Thor comes to them. He
Oh
jumps
yeah.
across
That's right.
like the inlet.
Yep.
We saw him do something similar in the opening of the first episode,
Yep.
where where he's still part of the Jomsvikings and he fakes his own death. We see him make a similar jump.
So to answer your questions, why they not shooting arrows? I think that because by then Thor will be dead, or maybe Thor will not dead. Thor will just jump off the ship with the Thorfinn and disappear, and that's gonna be an entire different series.
Huh?
So,
I'm saying, why didn't they just rain arrows down on the boat and kill everyone?
yeah, well, I just explained because maybe if they do that, Thor gonna just jump off the ship, and that's gonna be an entire different series.
If he's
So
jumping through the air, he can't like dodge arrows while he's in the air.
no. So he just jump off the ship, so like to the water, and so
They're
like under the
trapped.
water. Well, so yeah, that doesn't sound right, right?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the idea is that Askeladd is like he wants to make this fun. He even says he hopes that Thors is a fun guy. And Bjorn, the guy who throws the spear at the start of the episode to kill Floki's man behind the curtain, he's like, "Oh yeah, let me take them all on, because if we fight with equal numbers, it's not going to be very fun."
Yep.
So yeah, they wanna like kind of entertain themselves a little bit using other
Right.
people's lives, but
Mhm.
you can't survive in this setting if you're gonna like take things so lightly. You know, if you're going to make
Yep.
everything into your own entertainment, into your own sport, you're not going to live very long as a pirate or a Viking.
Yep.
So they, you know, it just bothered me that they just didn't like stick
Yep.
everybody full of like 100 arrows.
Yeah. I just think that because they think that they outnumber the other guys, so they just basically overconfident and underestimate the Thor and the team, which will be
Yeah,
their, which will cost their life, I think.
I don't
Anyway,
know, dude. I'm pretty sure Thor's is gonna die.
yep. What you take on Thorfinn?
My take is that he has very strong willpower in order to stop
Yep.
himself from peeing inside that barrel.
All right. Well,
That is
I
really
I
bad for you.
I would I would say that I'm not too surprised that we found out that he getting over as well.
Yeah, man. He wants to go off to battle.
Yep.
He's like 10 years old, or however old he is, I don't know, and
So
he wants to be a warrior.
yep. So basically, the event of this episode doesn't surprise me much. Everything happened like exactly as planned, basically.
Yeah,
Um.
I think Vinland Saga is a series in which that's probably going to be a familiar feeling.
Yep.
Like
Because it's
that's the whole thing with Thor's is that he you know he can't stop things from playing out the way that it seems they're going to,
that's right.
and
And
he really regrets and hates that he can't change like the course that his son is on or that he himself is on.
but he did try. So he only put like five people there on the ship, and
Right.
he planned to go into the war alone and getting them back home after they getting to Norway, I think.
Right.
Norway. So
Yeah, he did try. That's true.
yep. One bit of information that a bit surprised me, and I think that's for a good, that's actually pretty good, was the flashback of him when the first child was born, the
Right.
daughter, and he kind of act totally different from he is now.
Yeah, it was like 16 years ago or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he picks up the baby and he's not supporting her head,
Yeah,
and the midwives are there like, you know, you can see that they're afraid of him, so that it's not as though they can rush in and take the baby from him.
that's right.
Or perhaps that was just like typical, really stiff animation.
Nah, I don't think so. No.
Um, but yeah, it's true. He acts a lot different now, and all that is we see that flashback as he's describing to Ari, you know, one of the guys we brought along who's in love with his daughter, because everyone's in
Yeah,
love with his daughter.
yeah.
Um,
Apparently.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't blame them. She's a very good looking girl.
Huh.
Um, but it's all in the context of him explaining like why he deserted the Jomsvikings,
Hmm.
and it's because he developed a fear of like, um, you know,
Losing the
leaving,
family.
well, yeah, leaving his daughter without a father if he
Yep.
were to die.
Hmm.
um, but you can see that doesn't really translate in Ari's mind, even though he like intends to marry Ylva. He still can't process the idea that, oh, he gave up on, he when Thor tells him, yeah, I gave up on my life as an elite Viking warrior in order to raise my family. He just makes a noise like, oh,
Really?
yeah, like, oh.
Yep.
He's stuck in the like kill the enemy mindset. He's thinking that way even when their boat is trapped in the cove's inlet,
Yep.
and they're up against a whole bunch of like hulking dudes with battle axes and stuff. He's still thinking, "Oh yeah, I gotta cut off one of their heads and take it home for glory."
Mm.
and
Yep.
he's probably gonna survive somehow. I
I
don't know.
I would say he's gonna survive. At first I think like in episode 2 I think like the whole team gonna die except for Toffin, which will survive somehow because otherwise we don't have the series. But now when I think that only Thor gonna be the one dying.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work, but
Yep.
yeah, it's probably the
Because
case.
because that guy he serves to be like the eyewitness. He serves to be like the kind of guy who like going to the war on and enthusiastic and now getting the trauma out of it and
Well,
become
that's
like
gonna be Thorfinn's job.
well Toppin is like in a very long term. This guy is like in a very immediate term that he gonna see all that like the horror of war basically and just go back um to his home, to his village and doesn't want anything to do with the war, so I think he gonna serve that role.
No, I don't think so.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
he's
so
gonna
did
be. I think he's gonna
kill.
become a warrior. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think
All right.
all these people are. That's just
Yep.
it's too entrenched in their culture.
Yep.
Like in order to get into eternal paradise, you've
Yep.
got to be a warrior. That idea is not gonna like the idea of eternal life is
Mhm.
not going to be so easily shaken. I mean, look at how religion has continued through thousands and thousands of years
Yep.
in human history. Like
Mhm.
the promise of eternal life um, is not so easily shaken from people's minds.
Yep. Hmm. Well, I can see that happen as well. So yeah, we will have few hours to figure that out.
Few hours. Oh yeah, until the next episode.
Yeah, until the next episodes.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it right away. Honestly, I do want to see what happens. I want to see how Thor's dies,
Um.
if that indeed is what occurs.
Yep. Do you expect the quality drop in episode 4, or they will keep the quality the same?
I don't know, man. In the first place, when anime fans say quality,
Yep.
when talking about like a TV anime production,
Hmm.
that's such a vague term. There are like hundreds of different aspects of the episode that can be evaluated, um, like whether any care was put into them, whether they leave any impact on the viewer. Quality, I don't know.
Mm.
That doesn't mean much to me.
Right.
I hope
Right.
that the show still looks good, sounds
Yep.
good, the story's good.
Hmm.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Right. Yep. Do you have any other thing on the note?
Yeah, I mean the one thing that I want to really bring up is my favorite moment from the entire episode, which is once Torres realizes that they're trapped, and he goes to that chest and pulls out his sword,
All right.
and then
Mm.
he gets the dagger, or
Yep.
I suppose is it a dagger or a sword?
I
For
I would
for a
say it's a
child,
dagger.
okay, yeah. For an adult, it's probably a dagger, but for someone as small as Thorfinn, it might be a sword.
Yep.
Um, but like the look of like deep hatred on his face when he grasps that dagger and is preparing himself mentally to give it to his son,
Hmm.
is my favorite moment from the episode, because
That's right.
it's not even that he's saddened that he has to give this to Thorfinn so he can protect himself. He hates, it's like he hates he hates himself, he hates the entire world for conspiring to like arrange his life this way, that he
Yep.
he knows what's coming for his son,
Hmm.
um and he's like consumed with hatred for the state of his life.
Right.
He,
Yep.
it's a really like menacing, angry look that they drew for his expression, and it definitely struck out at me as I was watching.
I was thinking more along the line of like uh responsibility. It's more like, yeah, I understand what you feel, but it's not like the hatred that I feel, but more like that disappointment. It bigger than that.
That
So
that face goes beyond disappointment. He
mm,
looked ready to murder somebody.
right. So yeah, but that was a good scenes. I agree, and that I think gonna leave an impact to Thorfinn as well. I think that might be the only thing that like his father handed to him before supposedly he passed away.
Yeah.
So I think Thorfinn gonna keep hanging to that to that dagger.
Yeah. I mean, the from the very first episode, was it the first episode? No, I guess it was the second, when Thorfinn discovers the chest,
Yep, that's the
with
second.
a dagger in it. Like the way that the show treats that moment is as though it's like the start of something massive.
Yep,
So the dagger is probably going to be, yeah, it'll be a very powerful symbol throughout the
yep,
entire series. It's probably the weapon that he wants to use to get his revenge,
yep.
um, on whoever ends up killing his father, which is probably going to be Askeladd.
Uh,
And Askeladd himself is an extremely dangerous
right.
character. Like the combination of his his he treats war and murder and death as entertainment.
Yep,
Um, but he also has like a very easygoing demeanor.
yep.
So he's some kind of psychopath,
Mm.
and that's a very very scary mix of traits that he has.
Yeah, because like the very first thing we know about Escalade is his team bullying the priest, the Christian priest,
Right.
torturing. Sorry, not bullying, torturing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They apparently are not big fans of religion.
yep. Mm. All
Yeah. So
right.
I'll watch the next episode when it comes out in a little bit.
Yep, that's right. I think I'm gonna do that as well. If I'm not fully asleep before that.
You'll be asleep. You should be asleep.
Yep. All right. The
Yeah.
last one. Uh,
I should be
uh
asleep.
you should be asleep. The last one on this weekly coverage is Araburu.
Uh huh.
How you like these episodes? Do you still enjoy it?
Did they keep up the
Like,
quality?
yep. Do they keep up the quality? That's the question. Yes.
Uh, I to be honest, I did not really care one way or the other about this episode.
Right. How comes?
Well, when somebody says they didn't really care one way or the other,
Yep.
like it's kind of hard to pinpoint why why you feel
All
so
right. So no
ambivalent
strong
about it.
opinion.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think maybe my main issue is that they're trying to tell stories about all five girls. Now
Right.
that the redheaded girl with the pigtails has kind of entered the story in a way that she
Yep.
hadn't before,
Hmm.
they're spreading themselves pretty damn thin.
I can see
Uh,
that. All right.
Kazusa kind of takes a backseat in this episode,
Yep.
um, but there's just it opens with the club president and her magical makeover, and then the author girl gets her like Super Mario Kata moments where she, you know, she's embarrassed, so she hops onto the teacher's lap, and then like 5 seconds later she runs away.
Yes.
This is like the
Sif.
10th time or something that we've seen a character run away from something in this show, and
All right.
there's the whole thing with Nina. Like Nina's doing a whole bunch of stuff. Um, she's she sees that poster for like a film, and then she pulls up a YouTube video on her phone of an interview with the director and calls him a creep. So
I,
there's
I I don't really get that scene actually.
Well,
Uh,
the what
right.
I noticed is that in the ED, at the very start of the ED, there's like five guys
Yep.
who pop up, who many of whom seem to be like the love interests in the
Yep.
show,
Yep.
and he's one of them,
Hmm.
the director guy. So there's something going on between he and Nina. Like their relationship is more than just he's a random guy who she watches a video of.
Hmm.
Um, so Nina's doing that, and then she's doing a bunch of other stuff. Like she's talking to Izumi on the train, and she's like helping to counsel the redheaded girl because she's never fallen in love. And I
Yep.
don't know, man. I just there just wasn't one thing in this episode that I really latched on to.
All right.
It was too
Um.
much happening, maybe.
All right. For me, I appreciate how the five girls have something of their own to do. I like that. What I'm a bit afraid is now like all of their problems, all of their like insecurity about sexuality, and all this growing up stuff, become more of like the romance stories. So
I mean,
like
was that not expected?
I was kind of hope that it wasn't going that way, but so I'm not that it's not that unexpected. It's kind of a bit let down for me. That it treat the it treat the normal ways of like turning on this girl insecurity into romance. On those the series itself, I think the very premise of that is that they don't know how to differentiate between sexual desire and the romance and their emotional romance.
Yeah, Kazusa says she literally says that
Yep.
in the episode.
So
Oh man, it's so hard to tell the difference. Like the line has been blurred between love and lust.
yep. All right. This show is not it, it's not subtle. So yeah, she did say that. Yeah. So yeah, I so in one way I'm glad that all the fighter has something of their own to do, and it keep progress seeing in like I think good pace. But yeah, when when in the end it's all about romance and like who fall in love with who and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, what other way would there be? What different route could this show take in regards to girls' like
I
sexual awakenings or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever term you want to use?
yeah. Well, I actually I'm all in with like one or two of them having like a romance and trying to differentiate between the sexual awakening and true romance stuff. But like when all five of them
Well,
are all tango in love.
what would the other three do? As the other two are like pursuing these romances, let's say,
Maybe
what
all
are
right.
the other three doing?
Maybe it's like they can like in one extreme they can hand on in one extreme or the others. So like maybe one of them just obsessed to sex
Yeah, with
and
whom?
doesn't. All right, just like sex in general. So like take the girl who write novels, for example, Hongo.
Yeah.
She can just like obsess it with writing sex and have nothing to do with the romance with the 40 years old with the with her teacher. And I think that the show as a whole still maintain its strong point.
Well, I mean, I don't think she is like that into him romantically yet
Yet.
because
Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, I think it'll probably get there eventually, but I mean, that's when she in the scene where she like hops onto his lap and then immediately runs away, which
Yeah.
still makes me laugh. Like,
Well,
Oh, it's such a,
see,
so convenient for the author that you can just make your character like act out rashly and then
all
immediately
right,
walk it back and regret it.
but, no, she feels something. You know that, right?
Yes, and that's the thing. It's like she's more focused on like the physical sensation of it.
Yeah,
She's not thinking, "Oh man, wow, this guy is like really, I really like this teacher guy."
yeah,
Uh, you know, she is more obsessed with the carnal aspect of it
yeah. So
at the moment.
for now, I'm still alright. But in the future, if it get into like the romance between her and the teacher, I don't think that's gonna be very good. I just don't like it that way. To put it that way, even to the to the president.
Yeah, the
Uh,
club president and her she took off her glasses and now she's hot.
that's right. I think that by itself is a good development. But why it had to do with this one guy? It had to
Well,
be focused on this one guy.
he predates her makeover.
Well,
Like he in episode 2 he was already talking about how she was like as beautiful as some model when
yeah,
she still had the ponytail and the glasses.
well. But my point is, if you put him away of like all these stories, and having her to deal with like her so anxiety with like the other classmates, and that her makeover change them over as well. It is still make the point. It doesn't have to be romance. Basically, that's what I mean.
I see. Well, I mean I guess yeah, you could tell a story about, you know, girls going through puberty without romance, but I mean it makes sense that as girls or as people awake, like as they wake up to the fact that they're sexual beings, uh, that's that feeling, that potential, like that capability is going to be targeted. Like it's not just going to exist in
Yep.
the ether. Um, you know, they're gonna want an object to attach those feelings to.
All right. Yep.
That's how people are. They don't just, you know. Well, I mean, some people do just stay alone forever,
Mhm.
but in general, people are looking to attach themselves or attach their feelings to somebody else.
All right. So yeah, I think I can tolerate if they have like two or three romances between like the cast.
But we're gonna
But
go for
now,
10
yeah, but
romances. I won't accept any less than that.
yeah, but now it's like time five and maybe like some in between as well. It's gonna be hard. All
Did you
right,
say it's gonna be hot?
half for me to watch.
Oh, hard. Well, that's also a problem.
So, all right. Apart from that, so I'm a bit worried with the direction, whether I like it or not. If it go full romance, but otherwise, I think it's all right. The episode still develop this girl neatly.
Um, yeah, it's fine. I don't know.
Yep.
I was kind of tuning out a little bit. I think the redheaded girl might be gay
Oh, I actually thought of that as well.
because she
Huh.
says she's never fallen in love with a boy,
And then
and
she look at Nina the straight way.
yeah, well, she just says you're so beautiful.
Yep.
Um, and I mean, at this point, she's more flattered at being at the moment when Nina says like you're my best friend or you're one of my best friends.
Mhm.
She's more flattered than she is like smitten with her, you know. But
Yep.
it's possible that she could be gay. And I mean, we'll we'll get the answer to that question sooner rather than later. Now that there is a guy who's like interested in her, you know,
Right.
when they go to karaoke.
Yep.
Um,
But
I think it's nice that the boy is like he admires he met her a long time ago and he like admired the fact that she, even though she was alone sometimes at school, that she didn't let it get to her, you know, that she was kind of brave.
yep,
But I mean, he probably wants more from their relationship than just for her
yeah,
to
of
be like
course.
an object of admiration.
He the one who asked her out. Oh, no, no. So he the one who indirectly asked her out for the karaoke.
Yeah, yeah.
So he
His friend group, like
yeah.
they get the girls to invite her along.
So yeah, he definitely wants something more out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a nice little story. Like
Yep.
he wants to be with her, but he's not going about it in a deceptive way, in a like a brutish or
Yep.
rude way.
Hmm.
He's you know he's just trying his best.
Yep.
But she, you know, depending on what you know, whatever her sexual orientation is, or even putting that aside, just like how she's feeling in general about like what's you know where she is in her physical development,
Yep.
or in her emotional development, she might not want that.
Even if she ready or not to get involved into a romance. Uh. So yeah.
It will. I mean, she's in an anime, so it may happen whether she's ready or not.
All right.
She's in a Mario Kata anime.
All
Dude,
right.
this scene where the author girl like jumps on the teacher's lap and then runs away, I was
Yep.
like, oh my god, are you serious?
Well, I'm not surprised.
I'm not really interested in her at all, to be honest. Like the entire impetus for her character to do anything is born from these like super dimly lit computer sessions.
Yep.
I don't know. I just don't find her to be particularly real.
All right. All right. You get any other notes for the show?
Hell no. Let's move on to a good show.
Handy.
Yes. Yes.
All
The
right.
show's so good. I love it.
We learned a lot about Handy in the last 5 episodes.
Heidi's so cute.
CCQ, right?
Everything she does is like so well, I mean, it's so like a child.
Yep.
Everything that she does.
Agree. Yep. So
Um
she
Go ahead.
tried to be a uh, a shepherd. What's the
A
word?
what?
So she tried to hurt all these
Oh, a goat herd.
a good hurt. Yeah. So she tried to be a good hurt
Yeah.
and failed at first,
Yeah.
and well, it's her bird get just gone away, leave her like devastated for a few days.
Yeah, I think that was a story that we could expect to be told based on the first
Yep.
5 episodes. Like the bird was eventually going to just to leave. There's an explanation that grandfather
Yep.
gives her that the bird migrated,
Yep.
you know, and she seemed to be happy with that.
I'm
Um,
happy with that. I'm happy with that explanation. To be honest.
yeah,
Be-
well, of course, it was a great episode.
Yep.
Oh my god, I just I love it.
I
I love stuff about kids. You know, that's a personal weakness of
preference.
mine,
Right.
so to speak. Yeah, it's a personal preference. But if you know, if kids aren't acting like kids, if they're just acting like adults in children's bodies,
Mhm.
then that's really boring to me. But man,
Yep. So
she like the way she blames herself for Peachy disappearing.
her
You know, because
thanks to
she
Peter command actually.
yeah yeah Peter's yeah Peter is he's not very sensitive. Let's say he's
It's more like he a bit happy that like now that the bus is away. so that he can spend more time with her. I think he a bit happy that way. So that's
Right.
why he was just like dismissing the uh blame it on her basically on why Peachy's got just got away.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't think about how Heidi is feeling when he
Yeah.
says those sorts of things. He's just running off his own emotions. Like
Right.
if he feels as though he's playing second fiddle to a bird,
Mm-hmm.
then he kind of lashes out.
Yeah.
Um, but that's like Heidi. She blames himself for a bit. Um, is it because I didn't wake up in time? You know, that's how kids are.
Yeah.
They're at the center of their own worlds, so they, you know, if something negative happens in their life, they first assume, what did I do to cause this?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you can tell Heidi's a smart girl because she thinks to herself, did Peachy leave because I didn't wake up in time? No, I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Um, and it takes a while before she makes her way back to the house and grandfather can explain what Peachy has done, that he or she has left with his or her friends. Is it a boy or a girl? I don't want to say he
Yeah.
or she.
Uh,
Peachy left with its friends to find someplace warmer. But the thing that I love, this is episode 8 that we're talking about. The thing that I love most about the episode is that um, Peter tries to catch a new bird
yep. Yep. Yep.
for
Yep. Yep.
Heidi, and then through that bird, she's able to say goodbye to Peachy, like
Mm.
vicariously, because she wasn't able to say goodbye to Peachy before. It just, you know, it just left.
Right.
But she can pretend that the bird is Peachy, and that way she can get some kind of closure
Yep.
when she says goodbye.
Well, I'm sure Peachy is back when summer comes.
Yes, I think Peachy probably will come back. I like, putting aside how realistic that is.
Right.
Um, I think it'll come back.
So I'm not too worried about that.
And I also
Uh,
loved Peter, like his attempts to try to catch the new bird.
yeah, yeah, that's
You know,
right.
he sets up the little trap with the rocks, and then all, you know, the goats, they come in and mess up the
Right.
they mess up his little trap, and then he gets mad at them, and you know, it's how clumsy he is.
Yeah.
Also, is an extension of that. Like he kind of runs off instinct.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yep.
so I thought that episode was great.
All right. Do you want to talk about the moment where Heidi having her first failure? Um, when she forgot um to stir the milk.
Right. Yeah, that's in episode 7.
Yeah, that's right. So that's he basically learned a lesson that like then basically she's it because of her. She did it wrong, but Grandpa didn't even score her anything.
Yeah, and that's why she gets so upset.
Yep, yep, yep.
That seems to be very realistic to me as well. Like,
That's right.
if a
Mm,
child feels as though they've failed, and then like the failure isn't acknowledged,
mm,
they kind of punish themselves.
mm.
They, you know, if they expect that someone is going to scold them or yell at them or something, and that doesn't happen, then they'll like get more frustrated.
Yep, yep.
Um, so yeah, that whole episode, I think the theme is like Heidi testing her limits,
Mm,
because her grandfather doesn't think that she can make the cheese, and so she like begs and begs. Oh yeah, let me stir the milk. I can do it.
yep,
And her grandfather also won't let her go with Peter. That's the first episode where she doesn't go up to the mountain with Peter because of the strong winds.
yep. Mhm,
Um, and she's like, oh, but please, why can't I go? You know, I'll be careful.
mhm.
Um, yeah, and in that episode too, Peter's like, you're too soft with the goats. This is all your fault. That's
Right.
why Yuki-chan came That's why Yuki came back to your house.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, yeah, Peter. Shame on you, Peter.
Yeah, that's right.
You're making this girl cry on a regular basis. Um, but kids do fight that way. They
Yep.
they don't understand each one another's points of view because they're still so like kind of
Yeah.
they're still so focused on their own.
Because when I was watching that scene, I was under the like my thought was that Grandpa has a bit of responsibility in that as well, because he's supposed to supervise her all the time.
Yeah. What?
So
Where did he go? What did he go off to do exactly?
he go to grab the something to burn, I think.
Like
Uh
firewood or?
the hay or something. I remember he did mention about that. Don't remember that much.
Yeah. He does leave Heidi alone at
Yep.
inappropriate times. I feel not just in this episode. Although you're right that he. Yeah. I think I agree with you that he
Right. Yeah, but later he did say
he's at
that.
fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does say, well, but the way he phrases it is, I should have known that you couldn't do it,
Yeah, but
which was wrong of him. Even though he's
yep.
like, perhaps he's in his head, he's thinking, oh, I'm trying to be gentle.
Yep.
Um, but I think he really messed up in that
Yep.
moment.
Well, he's the guy who isn't good with his words. Like you see the way that he tried to communicate with the villagers, and it turned out really badly.
Yeah, that's back in episode 6.
Ye-
Yes.
Is that six? All right. Wow,
Yeah.
that's way
Um,
back. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think that he tries very hard to communicate with them. He like goes down there ready to fight.
Right.
Um, I mean, the shopkeepers are taking advantage of him.
Yep.
They've changed the prices probably just for him because they resent the fact that he lives up on the mountain alone.
Yep.
Um, but I don't think he really tried to communicate.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I think he
Yep.
was
Yep.
probably prepared the entire time to keep walking down the mountain and go to the larger city.
Yep. Mhm.
And I got the sense, like watching these 5 episodes, that I mean I know Heidi's the main character, and we're following her, like her social development and all her adventures and stuff. But I think this show is going to double as the story of grandfather's like reintegration into society.
Yep. So we got actually that was my worry at first when Heidi just told him that she gonna go to see Peter grandma, and I was thinking like maybe grandpa will be like the main uh antagonist, like the main factor that like gonna prevent her from socializing with other people, and maybe in the future when she get contact to them she might push him away. So that was my worry, but then he handled that very good, very neatly.
Yeah, it, he it's a hard thing to talk about because I don't know what caused like his current attitude. Well, I mean, it was probably the death of his daughter. That probably.
Maybe. We never know for sure, right?
Yeah, we do know that Adelheid, his daughter, died.
Yep. Yep.
I can't remember the context yet. Did she die in childbirth, or
No, I don't think so. No,
it was like
it's
one
not
year
clear.
after Heidi was? I think it's like 1 year after Heidi was born. Both of her parents died,
Yep.
and so for 4 years, what's her face, Aunt Dete
That.
brought her up.
Yep.
Yeah, they pronounce her name like Dete.
Yep.
I don't know how to say it.
Uh, uh, Yep, I think my favorite episodes out of the 5 episodes that we see is the one that she going to see grandma,
Oh my
Peter
god,
grandma.
dude. The very end of that episode
Yep.
where the narrator says the golden light of sunset over the mountains shines brightly inside grandmother's heart. When I read that, I lost it.
Oh, so
I was so moved.
and you was always criticize the unnecessary narration.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think I was that hard on the narration in the past. In fact,
Okay,
I
yeah.
think I
So
might have been more lenient on it than you because I brought up the fact that like this is for children and it may help them to understand um, like what characters are thinking and feeling, connections they might not be able to make otherwise.
yep.
Anyways,
I was impressed. Like in the first beat when she just met the grandma, and we see like how she really tried to help grandma to see
right.
because she doesn't know.
Well, I was during that scene. I was like, when is the grandmother going to explain the concept of blindness to this child?
Yeah,
She just continually says over and over, "I can't see. Like I'll never
yeah.
see again. I can't see. I'll never see again. The world will always be dark for me. I can't see." And did I mention that I will never see again?
Well,
When are you gonna say my eyes don't work? When are you
well,
just gonna phrase it that way?
but she eventually learned that. Harry eventually learned that. So that
Has she? I don't think she ever like. I don't think the grandma ever truly communicates. I'm blind.
she doesn't understand what does lie mean.
Who?
Harry.
Well, you could explain it to her. You know, just like children don't understand death.
Yep.
Um, it just it just means that the person it's often explained to children as though the person falls asleep and does not and never
Wake
wakes
up.
up again. They're gone,
Yep.
and they don't come back.
Right.
But you could do something similar with blindness. Like my eyes stopped working and they're never going to work again. You know that. I'm sure
Yeah.
that would also be difficult for Heidi to accept, but it would be a better alternative to what she did, which was just say, "Oh no, I'll never see again. I'll never experience the mountains on fire ever again." What do you? She's torturing the poor girl, and Heidi does. She does start to cry like uncontrollably because
Uh,
she's a very sympathetic child. Like
yep.
she is so sad for grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is very very rare, I think, for a child of that age.
Well,
I think a lot of kids that age would just be unable to process the idea that someone can't see. They would just kind of,
yep.
hold it in their mind for a minute, try to work it out, and
And
fail,
if
and then move on.
and they forget about all that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they see, their
yep.
experience with the world is that you see with your eyes, and that's how everyone's life must be.
Yep.
Um, and that's why Heidi doesn't get it, but
Yeah. But eventually, like Heidi does learn all about that, and even about like the conditions of the house. That she asked her grandpa to come down the next day to repair the house.
I was very surprised that he did
He
that.
accept.
Yeah.
Well, he will accept everything that Eddie asked
Yeah, I think
him
that's
to
and
do.
the show didn't really lean into that very much. Like it didn't there
Yeah.
wasn't a scene where Heidi was like begging and begging and he was like, "No, no,"
Yep.
and then she finally won him over. He just is willing to do that because Heidi asked him.
Yeah. At
Although I'm
first
sure it was painful for him.
that's right. But at first he was thinking that the people live there asked her to ask him to do that.
Right. Yes. And
So yeah.
that's another suspicion that I had was that he like wouldn't believe her. Um
Eddie.
he would
Oh
think
yeah.
that they had actually asked her to
Yep.
make that request of him, and that Heidi was lying.
Yep.
But
But
he came down anyway. It may be that he still thought Heidi was not telling the truth.
Right.
even when he went down to fix the house. I don't know.
Let's see. But I just I like how the two work out. Like the way. So it's not they the way they communicate to each other is really it's they don't need to say too many words, but they can completely get each other.
Yeah, they do seem to have a good understanding.
Yep.
Um, although a more communication would not be a bad thing.
Yep.
Because
Well,
the lack of communication between them in some episodes, in some situations, is causing, you know, some problems.
all right.
Stay in the room with her while she stirs the milk.
Well, well, he's the old grumpy grandpa, and he already like making progress. So don't be too harsh on him. He doesn't know how to raise a child until
That's
she
not. He
can.
had two children of his own, or
Uh,
a child. I don't know how many
yeah.
brothers or
Well,
sisters Adelheid had. Oh, Date
it
is no. Date is
it's
related by
not.
marriage, not by blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he knows how to raise a child. He had a child. That's where Heidi came from.
Well, first, but it doesn't mean that he know how to raise the child. And second, it's been a very long time that he hasn't been raised any child.
Yeah, that's true.
And third, that he become more and more isolated to everyone around. So it's been hard on him as well to open up and communicate.
Yeah, I am assuming that his wife died.
Yeah.
His daughter died tragically,
Yeah.
and
And we don't. Yeah.
he's just bitter. He's lonely,
Yeah.
and I
Uh,
wonder like what role the village played in that. Perhaps they like didn't support him, or someone in the village was the cause of one of these deaths. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah.
I
Uh,
think it could be. I think the likely scenario is that he just like ran away.
he
When
just wanted to be alone.
yeah, he couldn't handle um,
Yeah.
that
Maybe.
kind of loss in his life, and so he just fled.
Yeah. So still we still don't see the girl that appeared in the poster yet. So I'm still wondering that what her role might be.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep, that's right.
For right now, I don't even feel the need for any new characters, which is when you're 10 episodes into
Yep.
an anime series, usually you're like, all right, so what's next? What's the next development? But honestly, for right now,
Yep.
I'm good, man. Like I just want to see more
All right.
uh,
I
adventures and stuff.
I think I know what next for Healthy. See,
She's gonna learn
I
to read.
that's right. That is exactly right. So that she can read the things. Is that the
The
Bible for grammar?
I think she calls it a prayer book.
All right.
I think that's the words that were used in the sub anyway, the
Mm.
subtitles.
Yep.
So a prayer book, yeah, it could be a Bible, could be like a hymnal with hymns in it, like lyrics to spiritual songs.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yes, that is definitely going to be a major, and it's probably going to be grandfather because he seems. Well, we don't know this for sure, but I think that he's
He
like fairly well educated, at least for the time.
Yep, he absolutely can read because he read data letter.
Oh, okay. There you
So
go.
yep. So yeah, I think he will teach her how to write and read soon,
Yep.
very soon.
And then Peter might be able to learn from Heidi then, or
Yep,
perhaps they'll take lessons together
that's right.
from grandfather, because like the show's made a point of that now to demonstrate that Peter is not a very strong student.
No,
Um,
not
you,
at all.
we see. I think it's in episode 9. We see his. We see a scene of him in the classroom with like the really
Yep,
stern schoolmaster.
yep,
And you can see Peter in his seat is fidgeting. He's like moving around. He can't sit still.
yep.
So it may be that he has some form of you know,
I think he just doesn't like
a
to just stay in one place and you know doing
yeah.
something as hard as study.
Yeah, I was gonna say ADD, but then I stopped myself because,
Yep.
like, when is this show set? I don't know, but ADD was not even a glimmer in any psychologist's eyes
All right.
at this point. But yeah, he's not the type of child who's able to sit still. Uh,
Yep.
he wants to be active,
Yep.
and it may be that he's not very quick either. He may be like a little slow witted.
Right. Yep.
Um,
You see the way that he tried to read.
well, he held the book completely, like he
Yep.
didn't even have the words facing him. I think that was more
Yep.
him just not paying attention. I think
Uh,
even a
uh,
child who doesn't understand how to read understands the concept of like that letters and words mean something, and
yeah.
they would hold the book so that the letters and words, like usually when you see that sort of scene, it's the character holding the book upside down
Yep.
rather than holding it in reverse.
That's right. That what make that scene so funny to me. My God.
I feel bad for Peter.
Yeah.
His family
It's
is very poor.
and he
Um,
doesn't have a father. It seems.
yes, yeah, that's true. And I think, does he have more? Are there more siblings?
Not on not on handy physics. So from what I see now, it's just him, his mother, and his grandma.
Yeah, I thought there was some line in there somewhere that implied that he had like a lot of siblings, which would make it
Mm.
difficult for her mother to provide for them. But
Uh,
maybe I just imagined that or dreamed it
yeah,
up
I,
because he's
it
alone.
doesn't cross my mind. Yeah,
Yeah. But nevertheless, yeah, his family's very poor.
right.
The grandmother has to work.
Yeah.
She has to. I'm not sure what exactly it is that she's doing at her at the pedal
She
there.
she's sewing, I think.
Well, she didn't appear to be like arranging the fabric in any sort of pattern. She was
Right.
just spinning it,
Mm. Not
into like
sure.
a,
Yep.
a, a thinner thread.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, their house has fallen down. They're quite poor, it seems,
Yep.
which is probably why Peter has to work,
Yep.
as the goat
Mhm.
herd, and he
Yep.
only goes to school some of the time,
Yep.
which in turn is the reason that he can't read, most likely.
That's right.
So it's a very unfortunate situation, I guess. Um, yeah, I mean, he'll probably be more receptive to learning from grandfather or even from Heidi. Like Heidi could teach him, and then there'll be an episode where he feels like ashamed that a younger girl has to teach him how to read
Yeah.
because he's older, and so he might kind of lash out at Heidi
And
because
maybe
he feels embarrassed.
he just blame Penny because of that. It's your
Yeah,
fault that I can read.
yeah, it's your fault because you're always going with me to the mountain, and then I don't want to go to school. It's your fault.
Right.
Uh,
But yeah,
he's so
I,
he's
I
so clumsy and like
I really
unobservant.
I really enjoy the 5 episode of Heidi. Even like the first 10 episodes, there is really entertainment,
Yeah, they're
edutainment.
edutainment.
Well, it's not a lot of educational at all actually, but it's more
You learn
like
how to make cheese. What are you talking about? You learn how to make cheese.
oh right, no, just the first part of it. I know how
No,
to start.
you see them make the whole thing at the very end. Like they
I
put it in the little mold and then they lift it up and
all right. I know how to stir milk, so that is the burnt. I don't know
yes.
the rest of it.
I'm telling you, you see the rest of it at the end of the episode. You see all the other parts of the process.
All right.
You just got to go back and rewatch. There's a little
Yeah.
montage where they make the cheese.
All right. I think it's better. I think I can do that better in a silver spoon.
Did you end up watching that? I don't remember.
Yeah. I end up watching all that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they
Uh,
that's true. They make the cheese for the pizza, right?
and the bacon as well. Oh my god, now I'm hungry.
um yeah, this show is really great.
Yep. It's
I like it.
it's not
I like all the little sorry, go ahead. You say your thing.
yeah, it's not even a good children show. It's a good show
Yeah.
in ge- in
Yeah, it's
general.
fun. Um I like all the little details.
Mm.
There's so many little details like in episode 9 for example when Heidi is trying to listen to the fir trees even though they're covered in snow. She raises one ear to the fir tree to try to listen, and then grandfather does the same thing, and then the
Yeah.
dog, Joseph,
Yep.
he also like lifts up an ear, and
Yep.
that was so charming to me because that was like the first time I had really seen Joseph.
Participate.
Yeah, because usually is either sleeping or he is
Yawning.
barking loudly because someone's coming.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, then he had that very like human moment almost where he like lifted up the ear to listen. He was mimicking his masters, I suppose,
Yep.
is what you'd call them. And then like in episode 6 when she's trying to milk the goats, the way that she like sits down on the stool, scoots
Mm.
it in, and then like arranges her, she kind of untucks her skirt
Yep.
before she gets ready to start milking. Was like that's like a level of detail that you don't get from anime now.
Right.
All the little motions that a character has to go through before they like start a task.
Yep.
Usually you'll in anime today you'll get a shot of them walking over to whatever area they're going to
That's
be doing an activity, and then you immediately cut to them doing the thing already. You don't see the
right.
preparation because
Well,
that's more like labor intensive.
Yep. It's not entirely true though. So for cheaply shows, for cheaply movies, we usually have that kind of scenes. We just don't see that in any others anime studios.
Well, I'm talking about like I don't know. Let me see if I can come up with an example from one of these 4 shows that we watched. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Uh,
Not in Fire Force, not in Vinland Saga.
well, you're crossing these off pretty fast.
Uh,
I don't know. I can't really come up with an example right now, but it's I mean, you know, anime is an industry full of shortcuts that people must take in order to get you got to get the episode done on time. You got to you got to have the product ready
yep.
before it's supposed to go to air. I'm sure Heidi was the same way, you know.
Yep.
But they do there are little details that I do appreciate.
All right.
Um, dude, I got lots more, but it's our
All right.
we've passed an hour and 30 minutes. So,
If you want to say one more, you can.
dude,
You're
I
welcome
just
to.
the old woman and the golden light of sunset over the mountains shining
Right. Yep.
in her heart. I was like, oh, I couldn't handle it. Just
That
thinking about it
was-
now makes me really emotional.
Yep.
Uh,
That's nice.
yeah, that Heidi was able like especially the fact that it was that her grandfather was one of the 2 people or 3 because Peter helps.
Yeah.
But that grandfather was one of the people to help to like bring this little bit of light into her life because she ordinarily leads such a you know kind of dull and unexciting and even frightening life. You can see how afraid she is when
Yeah.
the house starts to shake as grandfather's working on it. She
Mhm.
thinks that she's like this is the end for her and for her
Yep.
family.
Mhm.
And you know, grandfather's usually so unsociable and it's really beautiful that Heidi's able to convince him to help and to you know like provide a little spark of joy in this woman's life.
Yep. All
It's
right.
very it's a very nice moment.
It is. It is indeed. All right.
Are we done? Do you have any final thoughts or anything?
Nah, it's all right. Oh, if you want to watch Copcraft, the third episode of Copcraft is just a nightmare of production issues. It
Oh
had
my
like
gosh.
frame shot. Surprise, surprise. Hey, I know.
Yeah, the PV for that show looked so ugly.
Yep. But they have like still shot in the middle of the fight, and they have like some many abrupted ending,
Oh boy.
abrupted editing, and and
But did
oh
they have a 54-second still like Fire
they
Force?
well they have like 10 seconds still in the middle of the fight, so it's compatible, and you have like the characters design melted in some of the scenes, so it just horrible. But oh, it's just horrible. It's just flat out horrible.
There's no
There's no
but.
but. There's no but.
There's no saving it.
All right.
Well,
So
that sounds terrible.
it is terrible. It is sad.
After we voted it the season sleeper.
That's right. All right. So tune in for next week. So for the next episodes, episode 4 of basically everything.
Woo! Episode 4 of Vinland Saga had better be good, or else
Yep,
what am I even watching anime for?
that's right. All right. Just tune in for episode 4 of Vinland Saga to see how Thor died, get killed,
Yeah. I'm
And
about to
maybe-
find out.
and maybe dismember.
Oh, God. Don't say that.
Sorry, too graphic.
Well, did Floki demand his head specifically? Like, bring me his head?
No, don't think so. No.
You just have to kill him.
Yep.
Well, he'll need the body as proof to get the rest of the gold.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see how gruesome the death is, if
Right.
it happens.
All right. See you next week, guys.
Take care.